Thank you so much, Justin, for joining us here at the Dwellynn Show. I really, really appreciate your time. I know we had a little bit of a hiccup there, but I'm just so glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here and to give to your followers and your tribe, dude.
I appreciate it. So, Justin, I'm sure you can do a way better job than I can. Can you just tell our Dwell listeners a little bit about yourself, kind of what you've been up to lately?
Cool. So I've been doing this since 2007. So I'm going to be going on I'm on my 11th year, going into my 12th year, flipping homes. I started backwards, meaning I started rehabbing and flipping, not wholesaling. As an educator and an influencer and a speaker and a coach, I always advise start with little to no money, which tends to be wholesaling. However, genuinely speaking, regardless if you're rehabbing and or wholesaling, you never need your own money. And I think I'm going to start changing how people view the real estate industry, because everyone assumes wholesaling is the only way. It's just not true, right? I started broke, busted, and disgusted. I just went through a foreclosure on my house. The repo man took my car. I walked away from $40,000 of credit card debt. I mean, I was down and out. I was sleeping on a couch. And so I only say this very briefly for your audience, the people that are listening. If you don't have money, if you're down and out, but you want this is something you believe in, that you can change your life, do not count yourself out, because I was literally sleeping on my buddy's couch, right? So I was as beyond just living on the street. That's as far as you can go as an adult, right? So I would really encourage everybody to take this seriously. You never need your own money. You never need your own credit. And it doesn't have to just simply be wholesaling. There can be so many different great exit strategies to the deals you get. So now we're doing 100 deals a year plus. We have an office of 7 people. We have a whole cold calling floor. I focus on marketing. And so, we're here in Phoenix. We're also doing currently, as a moment in time, we're doing deals in San Antonio, Texas as well. And yeah, it's been awesome. I've done well over 900 deals in my 10 plus year career.
Wow. So that's a pretty, that's like averaging 90 a year. So fantastic work there. But I really, really want to focus on that genesis part of your career, right? You said a lot of really, really impactful stuff there. You were down and out, your car got repoed, you were in debt, you lost that's like almost the pursuit of happiness, like the film, right? Like that's fantastic. Yeah. And there might be a Dwell listener, a fly on the wall, listening to our conversation. And even though they might not be in that much of a situation, but they feel like they are, well, at least mentally.
Yeah.
I'm really huge on mindset, right? I mean, when people come to me and say, "Hey, Ola, I want to pick your brain. I'm like, the tactics of real estate is pretty straightforward. You can get that from blogs, from books, from Bigger Pockets, but I think there's a mental aspect. Did you feel that helped you when you were really down on your friend's couch? Do you think mindset played a major role in helping you to bounce back?
It was everything. Truthfully, you hit it on the head. It was absolutely everything. At that time, I had no income. All I had was my time, energy, and effort. So books like Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now was huge. The book The Secret was huge. I'm looking at my bookshelf right now to think about what I was reading back then. Anything Tony Robbins I can get my hands on at that point, I was reading. What else? It was just a true mindset, being able to say, it's funny because when you lose it all and you're at the bottom, there's nowhere else to go. So it's almost the easiest time because, and I say this and people are like, what do you mean it's the easiest time? You're at your bottom. Well, yeah, but you don't really have any further to go. You crash landed, right? So now all you really can do is go up. So it allows you to take every day and really appreciate it, because little achievements happen that ultimately you can appreciate, because you're like, oh, I made progress here. Holy hell, I did this. Oh my God, I talked to a seller. Oh my God, a seller wants an offer. Oh my, where nowadays those are just such common stance. And like, if we're not doing that, I'm upset, right? Like if the company's, so 100% it was a mentality thing. And it's funny because a lot of people have asked me recently, actually, how do I have this attitude about myself? Because being an entrepreneur is very difficult. There's great times, there's difficult times, there's the holy hell, I'm the best ever to do it, and then oh my God, are we gonna go bankrupt? So it's that dichotomy. And I tend to remain very even keeled through it all. Of course, when it's time to celebrate the wins, you celebrate the wins, but also realize life is going to continue to punch you in the face. It's never going to be the right time to do something. You have to do the best you can with an educated decision, but beyond all else, you got to take the action to do it. So it's something that I just take it for what it is. This is, life, and we only get one of them. And I'd rather, fail by doing than fail by not doing or not achieving. So
I
that's,
really, really
it's a,
like that. Yeah, I really, really
yeah,
like that. I'd rather fail, by doing or not fail by not doing. That is
right.
amazing.
I'd rather people be like, dude, he took his shot and he fucking burned up in a ball of flames, but at least he took a shot. Right. I would rather that than people say, or the alternative is no one ever thinks about you or says anything about you. Right. You're just non-existent. You're not making any dent or anything in this universe. You're just being in. I'm just not that person.
Yeah, it's like my mom says, would you rather be envied, or in our Instagram world, would you rather have haters or would you rather be pitied? Right.
Totally. I'd rather the hater. I mean, it's funny. Someone yesterday, my buddy was like, dude, this guy really came after me. I'm like, if you're not getting those type of haters, you're not doing anything. So go get the haters, right?
Right. Fascinating. Okay, so you bounce back, right?
Yep.
But I really want to go back and own in at that period again. So what was that journey from, that point in your life to your first deal, right? And how did you make that happen from a tactical perspective? How did you make that happen?
It was, well, brute force. I'll be honest. I mean, I had no money, so I had no marketing budget. I had no way of like going out and finding sellers. So it was purely cold calling realtors. And I had no money, so I'd literally wake up and go to Starbucks and sit there with my dollar. At the time, I think the coffee was like $1.50 or $2. And at the time, they would have free refills if you stayed in the Starbucks stores, right? They just keep refilling your coffee. So I was like, well, I'm in, right? Amp me up on some caffeine and let me keep going. So I would spend all day cold calling because I had no other money. I had no other budget. But I also understood I could talk to more people by cold calling than I could door knocking. And so I was calling realtors because that was the only lists I had. As I was like, well, let's go look up realtors on Zillow and Century 21 and Keller Williams and every other brokerage I could think of, and say, hey, I'm looking to buy a home. I'm looking to flip it. I'm looking to buy cash. I'm looking to close quick. Do you have anything that would fit that model? And I got a lot of hangups, and I got a lot of no's, and I got a lot of, I don't have time for you. But eventually I found the agent that 9 months into doing this, I got my first deal. It took me 9 months. And we made $7,000, and I have a business partner. So me and my business partner split the $7,000 after 9 months. So it wasn't like all of a sudden I could go do something. And so it was just pure effort, right? Max effort, brute force, and knowing that I can win at this game, knowing it internally, believing it before I could see it, knowing that that day was going to come. The belief was so strong in me that nothing was going to stop me. But
So
again, I had nowhere to go, right? So even if I failed, well, I mean, I couldn't go any further down. So whatever,
So
And so
it's really fascinating, Justin, because you kind of answered the question. My next question is, you kept going because you knew that this would pay off, right? And
it's a
that's
belief. It's your belief. I mean, I talk a lot about this on my podcast. I talk a lot about this when you're speaking on stages. You have to believe it before you see it. You don't like, a lot of people are like, well, I don't know if it's going to work because they can't physically touch it, or they've never seen it done before or whatever. You have to have such a massive belief that you can win, that there is no failure. Because the only way you could fail, in my opinion, my humble opinion, in anything, is giving up. That is true failure. Otherwise, you're continuing to progress, right? And so for me, it was just a matter of time, right? I was unwilling to give up. It didn't even come to my mind. So with that, it was just a matter of time to get what I wanted.
so from the first deal in 9 long months, I can imagine, right, to 900 deals, right?
Yeah.
To date. So we will talk about scale and of course systems and all of that. But how did you select your strategy, right? Because the one thing people tell you, before you jump into real estate is, educate yourself. Then you have to choose an asset class. Then you have to choose a particular type of, investing style. How did you
Yeah.
pick, in the beginning phases?
I just went, truthfully. I knew it was going to be single family homes because understood it better. I knew what a home was. I knew it could rent and that kind of stuff. It was a simpler model than like commercial buildings or duplexes and and all that. So, and there's more of them, right? So I said, okay, well, where's the most opportunity? It'd be single family homes. And I said, let's just go see what happens. And so I didn't have a structure. I didn't have creative finance. Like at the time there was something called transactional funding, which would fund your deal for 24 hours, right? But you'd have to have a backup buyer already under contract, which ultimately was pretty easy. So with that said, it was just a matter of getting the seller to say yes first, because then I can go get the transactional funding, which again exists today. But that was a very big thing back then. Yeah. And I just went, I mean, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
So I didn't overthink it. I think a lot of people, they paralysis by analysis. They want to make sure they're doing the exact right thing. They want to get all their ducks in a row. They want to get their ducks in a row before the ducks are in. It's crazy. You just need to take action, max effort, max action, because then you'll learn through those actions.
So you did the first deal, you made, 3,500, your partner and yourself. And I bet even though it took 9 months, you were like, oh my God, it worked. This is what I've been thinking. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was amazing. It gave me all the confidence in the world to go even harder in. I was already in, but it gave me that much more confidence to be all in, keep going. A month later, we closed our second deal. The next year we closed 6 deals. The next year we did 20. The next year we did 46. So yeah, on and on and on and on. We got into development. It's been awesome, right? But it gives such a sense of confidence when you complete it. But you don't have to get a deal done to build that sense of confidence. That's what I didn't know at the time, is all those little achievements you need to celebrate, and that needs to build your confidence throughout.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So can you just kind of walk us through how you guys scaled? I think, that's really important, right? Somebody that hasn't done a deal and they're listening to our conversation, they're like, oh my God, he's done like a lot of deals. How do you build up?
Time, patience. I think a lot of people get in front, they hear me or they see me on stage or they whatever, right? And they're like, okay, I want to do what Justin does. And so I need to find someone to handle my leads, and I need to find someone to handle my acquisitions. And no. Like, it took us 5 years before we hired anybody, right? It was literally just me and my business partner. And so now, do I think it need to take that long? No, I wouldn't say that either. I just think there's a fine balance between hiring and leveraging and doing it yourself. There are times today in our business where I'm like, if I was still doing it all, I would keep it all, right? Where I'm like, what's really but I wouldn't be able to live the lifestyle I live. Right. I mean, I live an amazing lifestyle. I was just basically on vacation for the last month and a half. I'm able to impact so many people because I'm able to show what you can build if you do it the right way. So I would say scaling is a process. I would say before you hire anybody, I would make some income first. Otherwise, I would be doing it yourself. And I'm not talking about like hiring some VAs to scrub lists. That's fine. Those simple tasks that might just take too much of your time. I understand your time is of more value as a business owner, but as far as handling things and really hiring someone to handle what I would consider RGAs, revenue generating activities, which is handling sellers, talking to sellers, negotiating, making offers, trying to sell the wholesale deals, whatever that is, that you hold on to that until you're making $250,000 a year.
Wow, fast. I really, really like that's really, really great advice. Actually, I really like that. So now you were at the point, or you kind of had the wheels chugging. You were kind of developing the business a little bit, but while you're in that process, right? The one thing that wannabe investors struggle with is contractors, right? So when you hear flipping or you watch HGTV and you're like, I want to do this, but I don't have a good contractor. How did you guys overcome that challenge?
Well, contractors are the bane of my existence. I don't think there's anyone out there that is like, oh, this is simple. Here's exactly how you just handle it. And it's a note. Here's the reality is, yeah, you're going to find a good contract at some point, but you still got to push them. Meaning I would butt them up, go hire another contractor and be like, dude, I just need to make sure I keep you on your toes. Every contractor is going to be the best for the first 1, 2, or 3 or 4 deals. And then they're going to turn into charging more, slower work, right? Over budget. There's no just silver bullet to that. It is simply continuing to replace them if they don't perform continuing to set a benchmark for them to perform to, and then giving them a carrot. So you say, hey, if you achieve this, I'll pay you early, I'll give you a bone, whatever that be, right?
Fantastic. I totally relate. I mean, contractors have walked away from my, flip. I can tell you stories for this, and I'm sure you can too. It's very, very interesting. The human dynamics when you deal with contractors.
100%.
Yeah, it's crazy. So now you've got this pretty, machine, right? So where are you now focusing your energy in terms of growing this to the next level? And where does that next level, what does that look like? Are you going commercial? Are you staying with your niche? What are you
think
thinking?
the market isn't going to shift. I think it's correcting currently. So right now I'm not looking for changing everything up. I'm going to hang tight probably for the next 2 quarters, next 6 months, keep doing what we're doing. San Antonio has been up and launched. So we're currently actively doing deals in San Antonio, Texas, which is great, but we're not going to, I'm not going to go try to replicate everything in San Antonio. If we can make that a good, consistent deal flow, that's awesome. But I'm going to watch for the next 3 to 6 months. I think there's going to be some shifts. The correction is currently happening. So the truth is I'm just going to status quo right now, because this is where people can tend to get into an issue by, maybe they've had some success, maybe they're making some money. Now they go, oh, I'm going to go rehab 4 deals at the same time. And the music turns off. I've been there. I've done it, right? Ask me how I know. And so right now I'm going to just stay steady, keep bringing in the income, and see what happens over the next 3 to 6 months.
Fantastic. So you're going to kind of hold tight, right? So during this period, what are you kind of focusing a lot of your attention on? Right? You talked about RGAs, right? What are you or your company, what are you guys actually really focusing on right now in terms of those activities, essentially?
It's just a marketing game. This is pure marketing. The more sellers we can get to, we have cold callers full time. We have direct mail going. We have PPC going. We have bandit signs. We have door knockers. We have, voicemail drops. We have all that going at the same time, right? And this is all about getting as many leads on as possible, because then I can monetize those leads as many ways as possible. It's about the exit strategy. I can wholesale them, rehab them, buy and hold, creative lease options, all of that kind of stuff. But it's a marketing and conversion game, period. That's all this is. So I focus on marketing because then I have options.
So you've got this 11-year experience, right? From really kind of where you came to where you're at today, right? Mm-hmm. So you really have that retrospect view that a lot of people don't have. If you were to go back in time and talk to the Justin of that time, what would you tell Justin, knowing what you know today? I'm just curious.
That I didn't realize to the point I do now that it's a marketing game. This is all about getting in front of as many homeowners as you possibly can, as fast as you can, because it's an event-based business. Not everyone's going through an event that they need to sell their home or want to, but the more people you talk to, the more you will find that are like, thank God you called, or thank God I got your mail piece, or thank God I saw you on the internet, or right? And I would say if you focus on marketing and make that your sole priority above all else, that is how you're going to win.
Awesome. So I wish we could keep going, but we're definitely dwelling into the quick round. So these are going to be quick questions, quick answers. You ready, sir?
Let's go.
First question. What makes Justin unique? What is that differentiating factor that separates you from the next girl or the next guy?
I have a shoulder shrug mentality. So I'm not scared to ask the questions that are hard to ask, because if someone says no, I go, well, all right, I shot my shot, right? So that is hard to come by. A lot of people get reserved. That doesn't matter what it is, right? I'm just saying, no matter what, business, personal, I'll ask the questions, right? If I want something, if I'm desiring something, if I want to move forward in this direction, whatever, I'll ask for it. And a lot of people won't, right? And they don't actually know what they're able to achieve. So that really has always made me unique, all the way up into getting into people's lives, like finding mentors and creating the higher influence of people that I've been able to surround myself. I just ask, hey, would you be interested in mentoring me? Hey, would you have any interest in grabbing lunch with me? Hey, and a lot of people don't do that. So that makes me unique for sure.
I like that. Second question. I know you're an avid reader. What was the last book that you read, and what was the one thing that you picked out from that book?
So it was a great book called Never Split the Difference. And it is the head FBI hostage negotiator wrote a book on how to negotiate. And then he takes those experiences and transforms it into business or life. And one of the main things that I took away is when someone is negotiating and someone says, whatever, I want $100,000 for my house. You always want to be able to ask a how question behind that. Is how am I supposed to do that? And then you just shut up. I mean, it's that simple. I understand how simple that is, but it allows them to realize, oh, he can't pay $100,000. And then they got to figure out how to answer it. Well, you go get a loan. Well, how am I supposed to do that when the home's not worth $100,000? The lender won't go get me the loan because it's not worth $100,000. So how am I supposed to do that? Right? And then that keeps going. So it's a great, great book and pretty entertaining because his stories are incredible.
I like that. Yeah, that book is definitely a big one here on Dwellynn Show. Last question. So you've got, the Science of Flipping podcast, great podcast. You're running a company. You've got stuff in different states. You're really, really busy, man. I've see you on Instagram.
Sure.
What do you do for fun?
Oh, bro, what don't I do for fun? I live a very, very great lifestyle, right? And sometimes I have to pull back from it because I tend to enjoy life. I was just in Greece for 2 weeks. I was in Miami for a week. I was in Utah for 4 days. I was in New York for 4 days. I enjoy life because I realize we as people are some of our experiences. And so I always try to have more experiences. So I do a lot of outdoor sports. I'll play golf. I just, for the first time in years, played tennis. I love to go work out at CrossFit. I love to, hiking Camelback Mountain here in Phoenix is something that we love to do. So, I try to enjoy and have those experiences and collect the moments. That's what it's really all about for me.
Fantastic. So if there's a Dwell listener listening to our conversation, they're like, I really like this Justin guy. Maybe they're in the Phoenix market or maybe not. Yeah. How can people connect with you, get plugged into your podcast and just kind of follow your story?
Yeah, well, the podcast is The Science of Flipping. It's on iTunes. I'd love for you guys all to go there and listen to it and give a review and give it 5 stars. That would be awesome. It's been around for almost 5 years now. I just redid my website. So I think usually I'll give someone a way to go get my ebook for free. In fact, you might be able to still do it, but if you want my book that sells on Amazon, it's the real book. You can buy it on Amazon for $20. That'd be awesome. Or you can email me and I'm happy to give it to you. You can email me at info@thescienceofflipping.com. Email me at info@thescienceofflipping.com and ask me questions. And I'm happy to give you my book, but also see if I could be of any help to you guys.
Justin, I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I've learned a ton myself, and I can't wait to see what you got coming in the future. Thank you so much.
You got it. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.